Hey guys, so the wind's starting to pick up. It's getting a little darker. So real quick, I'm going to show you another way you can use this same setup and do another type of trip or trail set trip line deadfall. So you can see here we've got our same woven sapling ring. We've got a post stick right here. Now what I've done different is I've got a peg here and I've got a little ring. This one's rope. You could make one out of wood, but you need some type of ring. So we're going to put this ring over our stake or our post stick. So let's get our deadfall up here. We want to run it over onto the back side of our post stick here and put the very bottom of it in that ring. And there you go. So let's say we've got a trail running right down here. We've got this kind of brushed in on each side just to kind of funnel the animal through this trip where we want it. It comes up, and you could increase your chances by baiting this as well. And on these trip ones, you can as well brush those in too when you're using a line like this. But say it comes along and it brushes this or gets caught in it, once it frees it from this post right here, it'll drop it. And that one wasn't set as hair is what I like them. That's why it's good to test your traps before you just set them and leave them. So again, we're going through our support. If you didn't have this, you could drive a Y stick in the ground, run your line through it, or run it around a nook in a branch. There's lots of ways of doing this on this end. You can raise this up, lower it. By raising it, you raise this, but two, you make it a little bit more of a hair trigger. And a tip is to don't carve anything, do round on round, because round is always a pretty good hair trigger. And once you start carving things, you start taking time to do those. So there, we've got our trip line. We got our animal coming along. Let's say we've got this baited. He comes up and starts messing with this, chewing on it, or he just decides to go through it. Drops that. Let me set it up for you one more time. See if I can make it even more of a hair. One advantage to pulling the knife out is you can carve things to where they're more of a hair trigger for you. Maybe we've got a hair this time. That is a little better. If you could use something other than rope here, it would work much better. But that's one way of doing another type of trip line. Fishing line works pretty good for your rings here. Wooden rings, metal rings, washers, key rings, things like that. They work very good for here. They're nice and slick. One thing about using rope or twine for that is a lot of times it wants to grab or grip your stick. So it's not going to work as good. It would work good if you were going to bait your trip stick over here. And they come along and they're pulling on the bait and they pull this stick free and drop the deadfall right on them. And guys, I wanted to show you one other way you could set this up, depending on how your circumstances worked out. So we're still going to use this as as a possible trip line, but instead of putting it on a ring that goes around it, we're going to take this and run it around our post stick. And this is going to be a double trip set. So now what we need to do is run similar to a Paiute. Just run a branch across this way. And if you had to, you could put another post stick or something on this end. A little long still. Still just a hair long. And this stick here is a little big, but I'd rather keep it big so you guys can see it. Okay, there you go. So not only does the animal have a chance of setting this off by getting caught on this, but this is set pretty good. So if you needed to run this over the top, you know, say your bracket here was a lot higher, and you could run it going down this way around a post, and then you have your trip here. So this animal, say this is, you've got this brushed in here, you got this side brushed in. The animal's coming along down the trail. Very similar to a Paiute. It's just a different concept of taking quite a few different traps and modifying them and putting them together to create the same outcome. So one more time, let me set this up for you. Hopefully I didn't break anything. So I'm going to run this around. Around our post over here. You could put another post here. We have the advantage of having a nub on this root here. So we're going to put our trip across there. On that nub. Try to get it as hairy as we can get it without dropping it on ourselves. There you go. Animal comes along here. Now guys, I set this back up just to show you what I would personally do. Instead of running the line across your post and running your trip across, because even though this can act as a trip line, if you've got your trap set right, it should take quite a bit of work to set this off. Watch out, dog. So I've got it running across the trail, but our rope is out to the side of where our deadfall is going to fall. And I would brush it in just because you don't want them to come this way. To create your funnel, so your trail's running here, funnel this side, and here's your trip. And then let's go ahead and we're using, you could put a stake over here. We're just using a sapling that was already growing there. So let's take and brush this in. Hopefully don't set it off. Kind of create a trip plate. Okay, that's probably good. Oh, I set it off. You see how just the weight of the leaves set that off. So it's pretty hair of a trigger. And it dropped where we wanted it to. Let's try that one more time. Pretty hair of a trigger again, I can tell. That's good. And then we'll kind of brush it in. You know, if you could use sticks to pick up the leaves and such that you brush it in with and lightly set it on there, that'd be the best. So we've got our trail here. Animal coming along. Pretty simple. Pretty easy to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed. That is the end to my little deadfall series. It's getting kind of late and I got some other things I need to take care of. So, alright guys, this was Chris. Hope you guys enjoyed.